Shukra is the first in line of a new breed of monstrous attackers. Isla's back can finally rest from carrying the ice team. She's about to retire to QTE duties. I hope you like stairs and chairs because you're about to see a lot of them. Let's not ignore the elephant in the room. PGR's schedule is about to be sped way up in an attempt to catch it up with the Chinese server. And Polaris Bond is Global's last normal patch for a while. As of this video, we have no idea how our monthly black card income will be affected, so given all that, is Shukra worth pulling? Let's find out. Lucia Plume released in December 2021 for Global, meaning she has served us dutifully as the ICE team's best attacker for 3 entire years. This should tell you something about power creep in this game, namely that it's generally not much of an issue. Now it's time for a new queen to step up, metaphorically and literally. It is perhaps a symbolic passing of the torch. Plume's debut patch was the very same patch that introduced the real Chu, both in the story and as a boss. Someone special had to replace PGR's poster girl, and I think they nailed it. Lucia fans need not fret, however. She'll be coming back in a blaze of glory in the patch Shaper's Ripples, which I suspect may happen around April 2025 with the new schedule. Take that estimate with a grain of salt, though. But enough about Lucia. Shukra has an interesting array of moves, but in practice you'll probably only see some of them as she races to use her signature move as often as possible. This becomes more and more true the more you invest in her. While at double S rank you need to carefully manage orbs between each signature move, the most helpful thing you can do to help with that is grab her signature weapon. But more on that later. It's not as bad as just watching a long animation, however. You actually need to press buttons during this move. This is where the orb management comes in, as you'll need to be able to pull off 3 pings before she sits on her throne. However, a queen is no queen without her subjects. Upon her debut, Shukra's ideal teammates are Isla Kaleido and Chrome Glory. Unfortunately for them, Shukra is so unbelievably powerful that even triple S rank Kaleido isn't worth swapping Chu out for, mainly due to Glory's subpar damage. Bro is old as hell. In the patch The Long Goodbye, Wanshu Lucid Dreamer will debut as the ICE team's new tank. I'm going to estimate that his patch will come out around February 2025, but again, grain of salt. Not only is he absolutely free like Isla Kaleido, he's close to Watanabe Epitaph's power levels. This allows the ICE team to once again have a full team rotation. On the other hand, if you're a new player who doesn't have any of these characters yet, Chu can put in some work with something like Isla Brilliance and Wanshu Hypnos as an extremely budget team. Solo Chu will be around for at least a little while, and if you want to make that easier on yourself, you might be interested in that signature weapon I mentioned earlier. Chu's 6-star weapon provides 3 fairly substantial benefits. 1. It allows her to take advantage of weapon harmony, letting Chu equip a superior set of memories. 2. It gives her access to the resonance deadline timing, allowing her to generate more orbs. And 3. It lets Chu trigger her own matrix when she uses her core passive, aiding her orb management further. All of these facts are generally helpful for most characters, but for Shukra, it significantly increases comfort levels while trying to use her solo. Thanks to server synchronization, Solo Chu will be relevant for a much shorter duration than expected, possibly only until February or March of 2025, but Solo Chu is not all it's good for. The weapon makes a huge difference to Shukra even after Wanshu's new frame arrives. Don't underestimate this one. This woman is so orb hungry that she needs all the help she can get. Overall, she's a great candidate for a signature weapon. Despite that, I strongly recommend free-to-play players prioritize getting characters over weapons, as weapons can be obtained anytime. This advice goes doubly so for the duration of the sped-up patch schedule. A weapon isn't the only goodie you can pick up for this not-so-green lady, though. After being a feature of Pavo's kit, this PFAL has returned as Shukra's signature cub. It provides solid damage and grouping, but if you don't have spare cub tickets lying around, it may be worth skipping to keep up with the faster patches. The weapon is certainly much more valuable for Chu if you have to pick one. This is normally where I mention additional coatings exclusively, but Shukra's generic coatings have such beautiful headpieces that I wanted to give them a shout out too. In her generic, she's got nothing on her head. In her generic modified, she has this absolutely gorgeous headpiece that you can only truly appreciate from behind. which is good because that's how you'll be seeing her most of the time. Its stained glass look glistens beautifully against the light and, in my opinion, makes her generic coating absolutely stunning. Her generic final, meanwhile, adds a more vertical headpiece, and some belts in the back. Modified definitely wins this one for me. She does debut with a gorgeous coating too, though. This delightfully gothic coating comes with purple special effects, and just look at that victory animation. You can pick it up for 168 rainbow cards. It hasn't been revealed as of the making of this video, but Shukra is also expecting this beautiful coating eventually. That brings us to the million-dollar question. Should you pull Shukra? We think you should, but let's go over her pros and cons. You should pull Shukra if you want your ice team to be powerful. Chu is the backbone of the ice team, and the most important member of it to make sure you get. You want a team that can be built cheaply. Isla Kaleido and One Chu Lucid Dreamer are both free from dorm commissions, making the ice team one of the cheapest teams to build. You're tired of using Lucia Plume and want to let her rest. She deserves it. And finally, pull Shukra if you love Chu. But with our uncertain future, don't pull Shukra if you don't want to use a character who feels somewhat bad without her signature weapon and at least one resonance. The stairs animation drives you nuts. And of course, don't pull Chu if you plan to use your blue target on her later on. Click the card on screen for more info about that. Remember that you can generally get all S ranks that debut after you start playing if you're free to play, so skipping should always be a final resort. Honestly, there are barely any reasons not to pull her, so you probably should if you can. Chu is really powerful, has great and cheap teammates, and can be fun to optimize. If you're watching this from the future and you missed her, she's also a good candidate to pick up on a future 100% raid banner such as the Anniversary banner. Even with the synchronization, Chu reigns supreme. But if you haven't heard the news about the patch synchronization, you must be a little confused, so watch this video for the full explanation of what's going on. Anyone else hope she gets a green coating one day? I miss my walking Christmas tree.